652 West Randolph. Please welcome Michael Muser and Duffy.
I think you guys have gotten a standing ovation at every single screening, so congratulations. Thanks for our audience. It's so great to have you guys here. Congratulations on the film again. And Kevin, you spoke a little bit in the introduction about kind of the process of this film, that you started with this little 15-minute online piece that was your plan for the Tribune, and then it developed into this story that we just saw. So can you talk a little bit more about that journey from beginning to where we are now?
It was supposed to be a short film about the mechanics of opening a restaurant. Just something that was going to be about blueprints, carpets, chairs, things like that. Very fascinating things to say, you know, I can hear the reaction. But then, what was supposed to take 6 months, as restaurants, constructions invariably happens, it turned into 18 months. And so by month number 8, we ran out of things to ask them. We were filming them like 30, 40 hours a week, just sitting around blueprints, just talking. It was boring stuff. And so one day, it was after a 17-hour film shoot day. We began at 3:30 in the morning with this guy working out, because this guy likes to work out at 3:30 in the morning. At the end of the day, I started asking him about his family. And this was 8 months in. Now, we did not know anything about his parents. We didn't know anything about Ruth Snyder. And when you saw him read that letter, that was when we found out. We went home that night, Mark and I drove home in complete silence. We did not know what to do. This is not what the movie's about. But then we realized this is exactly what the movie's about. It's not just about restaurants. In the same way that Seabiscuit is not really about horse racing. You know? This is about, it's about sacrifice, it's about brotherhood, it's about family, it's about laser focus to be the best, and the things you have to give up. So I think we wanted to make a movie that wasn't just for foodies. We wanted to make a movie that my parents would enjoy. And so I hope the result was something my parents enjoyed.
And for you guys, how was it on the other side of the lens, being documented along with the pressure of opening grades and all of that, also having this crew here and having to document you every step of the way?
I think in the beginning, it was awkward, and I'm sure it probably shows that in the video or in the movie. But I think as time went on, it became very comfortable for us. We actually didn't even notice that they were there anymore. And that's just a sense of us just getting used to them over time, and trust being developed over a long period of time. Like Kevin said, 8 months into it, wasn't until the story came out, it was because of that, it was that trust, you know, it was a nice layer of trust that we built up over 8 months of time. So, I mean, I know Mike was going to say it's completely different for him.
Because I hated it. Because I curse a lot and I say a lot of bad words, and I'm not that nice of a person. And Curtis says, they're going to follow us around all the time. And I went, that sounds like the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. F-bomb, 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 F-bomb.
I'd love to open it up for questions from the audience. Yeah, go ahead right there.
Yeah, so I'm curious if you have had anybody cook for you in the last couple of years who you see being you, going forward and opening up, like, some amazing restaurant.
Every day, my cooks. We have family meal every day, and I feel like we have a one-star family meal every single day. And we have a lot of cooks that we mentor every day, and our employees. And that's one of the greatest things that we can give to our employees, is mentoring them to move on to do something great. So hopefully when they leave the restaurant, our nest, that they go on to do great things. That's what we want them to do.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Hi, Grace. I have had the honor to be there here, the friends and family night when you opened the restaurant. It was one of the most beautiful nights that I have experienced in my life, eating in a place. It was not only about the food, it was about the passion, the emotion that you put in everything that you made. It was enormously rewarding to be part of that atmosphere at the beginning. I have never knew that turned into a movie, but it's the movie. It's so much, makes everything come alive. And it's
I don't
so
even
much
need a
about-
question at this point. It's very sweet of you to say.
What I wanted you just to say is that obviously that there are so many things that are coming into my mind as I watch the movie, but it's an extraordinary experience to be part of that, to be dining at your restaurant and to see so much of everything else that was happening is mind-blowing. I absolutely love the movie. It's so alive and so honest and genuine. It's an enormous rewarding experience and very emotional for me tonight. So I thank you very much for making the movie.
Thank you, that's amazing.
Yep. Curtis, I'm just wondering, now that you have 3 Michelin stars, have you found any kind of balance, or is the pressure even harder?
That's a great question. Balance is always something we're chasing, always chasing as chefs, and I think people who strive to do things great in their lives, they always try to find that balance in what they're doing. I can't say yes and I can't say no. I think it's a little bit steadier, but balance, I don't know, probably not. I mean, we strive to do that every single day. We try to make everything work to our advantage, but it's not possible, but things are better for sure.
I have to say also that tomorrow is when Michelin 2016 guide comes out, and they will be expecting a call tomorrow. We will not be there because we're done with the movie. We're done filming it. So all I say is good luck. Good luck, guys. Any questions? Yes.
Chef, how do you, when you're operating at such a high level, you're so focused on 100 hours a week and whatever, how do you stay on top of your game and look for new ideas for inspiration?
It's about internet. We're always searching the internet. We're kind of looking. We're just seeing what's out there, what's new, ingredient-wise. We're always looking for new stuff. We rely heavily on our farmers to communicate with us what's coming out of the ground, what's new, what they're growing for next year, what they're going to try to do next year. It's like, what can we give to them? We're searching. If we travel somewhere, we try to bring back seeds to them to give to the farmers to help grow some interesting things for us. It's always about that. It's just looking for something new, really, and trying to bring it and make it our own voice.
You're the director. Congratulations, especially on your first directing project.
Thank you.
That was really shocking. I wanted to ask you, at what point, when the story elevated, did you guys switch from Best Buy to a different camera?
Oh, yeah. Great question. I was still shooting with the camera that I was using at Best Buy, which is a Canon T4i. I think it's like down $900. But we shot, just for the technical folks out there, we shot towards the end. I think you can see progressively the movie getting a little bit more richer and so perhaps, right? That's because our budget, well, we didn't have any budget, we decided to invest more into the project. But we were using Canon 5D Mark IIIs, which are very much consumer grade cameras. And I think the lesson here is to say that we've reached a point where technology is just so amazing and cheap and available that, we've never shot a movie. Every scene you saw was shot, edited, produced by 2 people. So we did not have a crew of 15, 20 people in this movie. And that's not to say, hey, we're awesome. It's more to say it's about the story, and that anyone out there who wants to do this, and if they're passionate enough and if they find the right story, can be at the Chicago International Film Festival with a sold-out crowd. So it's pretty amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I was kind of amazed that you were able to do so much within a relatively small space. How are you able to work within in a busy restaurant with everybody running around?
So the question was, how were you able to operate in such a small confined space? Was that the question, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Grace is actually 5,500 square feet, so it's actually pretty big. And you actually didn't see a lot of the downstairs, which is another about 300 to 3,300 square feet downstairs, which we dedicated entirely to our staff. Yeah, so it's quite a big space actually.
You'd be surprised how fast that square footage goes away though. Because the space that we ended up actually taking was way bigger than we thought we'd ever need. And then you fast forward 3 months into the design process. I never saw myself having a chair at the kitchen design table. I always said that'll be Curtis and Tim, and I'll just stay way back away. And hell no, I got in the middle of that. Because the kitchen kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, at some point, we have to add a customer to the equation. So the revenue starts with an R. So it was a big process. I mean, it was, we ended up, we had to kick into certain areas that really weren't even ours, and like, borrow 6 inches out of the hallway so that we could have a small private dining space. So, we did have way bigger than we thought, but we just the short answer to your question is we put a lot of thought into it. A lot of thought. Nice egress lines. We built the place, the service pattern runs on a big egg-shaped circle. Flow is just a consistent issue for us.
The bathrooms are beautiful.
Aren't they though? Thank you.
Yeah, all the way up right there?
Yes,
Yes,
waving
you
your
just
hand.
waved, yeah.
I'm very curious to know who funded the operation and what was the amount of money
Absolutely. It's a gentleman, you may have heard of him, his name is Bill Gates.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, no, we have a third business partner that never likes to do anything in that world, right? He was someone who we met while we were working at our previous place of employment, and we sat down and had conversations and got to know him as best we could. And then we went to his house and started hanging out with the family, which was a big thing for the two of us. And then, heck, I mean, we drove around and looked for spaces, the three of us, for almost a year and a half before we finally settled on that spot.
Gentleman standing right there.
Yeah, how far in advance do I need to call for a reservation?
We take reservations 2 months in advance, and the only issues are usually on Fridays and Saturdays. It's a big misconception, but newsflash, if you call a very small restaurant and ask for 7 o'clock on a Saturday, even Rainforest Cafe is booked. Okay? Right, Chef Gary? It's Saturday at 7. You can't have that. So, but Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, there's almost always flow in room. And there is a lot of noise right now in our business on computerized ticketing systems and all that kind of stuff, and we do get that one a lot too, especially for smaller restaurants that only do 40 to 60 covers a night. But at this point, right now, we're very dedicated to phone conversations. Getting to know the client before they walk in the front door is a massive part of what we do at Grace. It's probably the most important interaction that I can have with you as a guest at my restaurant, believe it or not, is when you call and make your reservation. Many bad things and amazing things can happen in that one moment. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I called on you. Look at that.
I was just curious about how the relationship between you all, or especially between you, Kevin, and Curtis, developed over, because it was about 4 years. Yeah.
The question was, describe the relationship between myself and the team, and specifically myself and Curtis. It began with me and Curtis sitting at a restaurant called Sweet Station in Chinatown 4 years ago, June of 2011, or May of 2011. And I said, this was when I usually try to sell ideas and projects to people, I just feed them a lot of Chinese food, and it usually works. But essentially, I think next to my wife, Curtis is probably the person that I've gotten to know more of, because there's a lot of the questions that I'm asking him are actually very intrusive questions. Like asking about his family, and asking about was it worth it to go through what he's gone through with his family. I mean, these are things that normal friends, you're not going to bring this up unless you're really close and you're sitting in the bar. However, I think Curtis may have said in the interview that it was very much therapeutic, and I don't want to put words in your mouth.
You're right.
So, I mean, it was, and the fact that he would tell us about what happened to his parents when probably fewer than 5 people in his life at that point knew about that was really a trust and a privilege, and I felt honored to be bestowed that, and so I felt like we wanted to tell that story right, fair, accurately, and I hope we did it justice.
We've got time for 2 more in the theater.
Okay.